Happy Wednesday and thanks for tuning in. We are halfway through the week. First at 4, today Michigan State University announced its presidential search committee. The group of 19 people range from faculty to students to alumni and even administrators. Now the university says that it wants to remain as transparent as possible when it comes to the search. The next stage in the presidential search is hiring a search firm. News 10 will keep you updated as the process continues. Going into our top trending stories for the day, the Ohio State Board of Trustees met today to discuss the future of football coach Urban Meyer following an investigation into how Meyer handled allegations of abuse leveled against former receivers coach Zach Smith by his ex-wife. Now, the board discussed the employment, compensation, and discipline of a public official. When asked about the situation, Meyer intentionally told reporters he wasn't aware of any allegations, but later said that he made a mistake and that he did know about the allegations. Zach Smith was fired on July 23rd. No timetable, though, was given for when a final decision from the board will be announced. Also trending online today, images of journalists boating for breaking news. Now, this reminds me of my earlier reporter days. This was the scene outside the federal courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia. Cameras were not allowed inside when a jury convicted former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort on 8 of the 18 charges against him. Now, journalists took off running outside with their colleagues. One Temple University student, as you see here, in particular, went from intern to internet sensation. Absolutely funny there. Moving on, Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, is also in the spotlight after he took a plea deal to 8 counts of tax evasion, bank fraud, and campaign finance violations. He announced he paid hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels and Playboy model Karen McDougal at the direction of the president. Now, you'll hear more about Manafort and Cohen later in the show. Last but not least, Hurricane Lane is weakening. The powerful storm was downgraded today to a Category 4 hurricane. It has Hawaii in its sights with winds topping 155 miles per hour. On its current path, Lane is expected to move very close to or over the mainland Hawaii Islands from Thursday through Saturday. Now, schools on the Big Island have been closed. And of course, Hurricane Lane starts to move in closer. You can watch live radar on our website, WRLX.com, right now. And as they prepare for hurricanes there, let's see how the skies are looking here in mid-Michigan. Hey, Andy, what can you tell us? Strong winds are causing life-threatening waves on Lake Michigan as they slam against the break walls on Lakeshore Drive as an area where swimming is not allowed. The waves are different depending on where you are along Lake Michigan. A North Avenue beach has red flags up, meaning swimming there is prohibited, so be careful. A tragic conclusion to the search for Molly Tibbetts, a 20-year-old college student who vanished while out for an evening jog more than a month ago. Police say an undocumented immigrant has been arrested and charged in her murder. Ron Mott is in Brooklyn, Iowa with the latest. Music icon Aretha Franklin reportedly had no will or trust when she passed away. Franklin died last week from pancreatic cancer at 76. The legendary singer's 4 sons filed a document to list them as interested parties. The Detroit Free Press reports her niece is asking to be the estate representative. Under Michigan law, an unmarried person's assets should be split evenly among their children if no will exists. Now, Franklin's longtime lawyer told the paper that he urged his client to establish a trust for years. The lawyer says he doesn't have a dollar value on her assets, but the details will become public in court. Franklin's funeral is scheduled for August 31st. That's happening in Detroit. To the Little League World Series now. The team representing Michigan are a point behind on the diamond. Grosse Pointe Wood Shores is taking on Southeast team from Peachtree City, Georgia, from Williamsburg, Pennsylvania. The score this time is Michigan 2, Georgia 3. Now, they got their rained out game yesterday, but today they are all good to go, as you can see. Grosse Pointe needs to win every single game left to win the Little League World Series title. We'll, of course, keep you updated on the score. Votes are in for News 10 Sports Blitz Game of the Week, and it came down to just 1 point lead. The Game of the Week is Leslie at Dansville with 217 points. Okemos at Mason was in second place with 216 points. Now, you can nominate a game for Week 2 on the WRLX News 10 Facebook page. Just use hashtag BlitzNews10. We're also asking you to send in some pics of you having a good time at the game. And make sure you look out for our Snapchat feature while at the stadium. News 10 Sports Blitz will have live coverage from the game tomorrow night. That's going to be exciting. Still to come on First at 4, a California Uber driver is accused of picking up 3 passengers, then refusing to let them out of his car. We're discussing this story next in today's Top Talkers. And let's take a look at the traffic cameras right now. You can see there is construction slowdowns on 69 near 127. Other than that, everything looks good to go. Well, imagine ordering an Uber to pick you up and bring you home, only to be kidnapped and even threatened. Well, in today's Top Talkers, a California Uber driver has been arrested for allegedly kidnapping 3 women. Now, police in Sacramento County say this man, 39-year-old Mark Villanove, picked up the 3 women, you can see him here, last June and refused to let them out of his vehicle. The women say during their ride, Villanove made threats against their lives. Very, very scary. Now, Villanove was arrested Friday. He is currently being held on kidnapping charges and charges related to making life-threatening threats. He's being held on $375,000 bail. Well, we want to know, what would you have done if you find yourself in this type of scary situation? Head over to our Facebook page and leave your comments under the story. And let's head into the newsroom right now, where Ann is working on some stories for you guys at 5 and 6. Good afternoon, Ann.
Hi, Joe.
And thank you for that. But we're checking back in with Andy as well after the break to see what's happening in his Weather Authority forecast. Plus, 2 members of President Trump's inner circle, they're now facing federal prison time. What charges they pleaded guilty to when First at 4 continues. Welcome back, everyone. We're viewing politics right now. A stunning day Tuesday happening for 2 of President Trump's former associates. Campaign chairman Paul Manafort found guilty, and attorney lawyer Michael Cohen pleading guilty of felony crimes. NBC's Susan McGinnis has the latest and the implications for the president. Well, President Trump then took to Twitter this morning to speak about Paul Manafort, saying, "I feel very badly for Paul Manafort and his wonderful family. Justice took a 12-year-old tax case, among other things, applied tremendous pressure on him, and unlike Michael Cohen, he refused to make up stories in order to get a deal. Such respect for a brave man." The president, however, didn't feel bad at all for Cohen, tweeting out, "If anyone is looking for a good lawyer, I would strongly suggest that you don't retain the services of Michael Cohen." I had to check my calendar this morning because I don't know what was happening, but it kind of felt like a cool, crisp fall day, and it still feels good.
It really did.
Absolutely great. Can't wait for those temperatures tonight. Well, take a look at this, you guys. NASA officials say they have definitive proof of water on the surface of the moon. Now, the scientists say the ice deposits might be ancient. The discovery was confirmed thanks to data from NASA's Moon Mineralogy Mapper. Most of the water is located in shadows of craters that are near the poles. Now, researchers will now focus on the ice and determine how it got there, and will be a part of future missions. Now, this is something that's interesting for everyone because no one expected ice to be on the moon, and it's just shocking for everybody because now they're wondering if it's possible to live on the moon.
Yeah, it'd be real tough. I mean, there are some theories about living on the moon, but I think that knowing where that came from, could it have been transported from the Earth there? At one time was the moon very close? So that'll be very interesting to watch, because I think we may find out that little bit of moisture, in whatever source it is, may not have originated there. So.
And people are taking it even more further. They're talking about drinkable water from the moon. How cool would that be to have moon water?
Yeah, that'd be more than a couple of bucks on the shelf.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Well, you know what? We're going to keep an eye on that for you guys. Yeah. And we're talking about this too. Well, many people dream of starting their very own business, whether it's an idea of being just your own boss or simply doing what you love. Entrepreneurship can be very exciting, and a 9-year-old girl in Ohio is out to prove that it's never too early to start. Danielle Wiggins has her story.
Hi, I'm Addison Captain.
Go ahead, girl. Well, speaking of heading back to school, parents, are you ready to take those cute pictures? Well, a new study shows many parents are not considering the dangers of sharing photos of their children online. Now, 71% of parents agree that online photos could end up in the wrong hands, despite the risk of all of that happening there. Now, 58% of parents believe it's the right thing to post the images without the consent of their children, and 40% have considered posting images that could embarrass their child, but think the child won't even care or they'll get over it. But of course, I know, Andy, when you go back to, when you've been back to school, have you ever had any back to school photos?
Got them secure, but they're hard copy. They're not on the internet.
Well, we're waiting to see. I can't wait to see your back to school photo from you. You know, AIM is asking for them.
Yes. There will be promos on Channel 10 with our back to school photos.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I did
you guys.
include one of mine. So.
I can't wait to see it, and I'm sure we're going to have everybody else's up there for you guys as well. We have some more news coming up for you at 5 and 6.
And looking at some pleasant temperatures, something remarkable happened in the Lake Michigan today. We'll talk about it at 5.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for that, Andy. Can't wait to see you guys back in here in just 30 minutes. Have a great afternoon.